may be used as evidence against you.
Right. Let's see, what's this one?
Can you imagine? I tried to get pregnant too, but it didn't happen. I slept with so many boys, men. My body refused. I think my period stopped because hers had. I was pretty ill. I mean, how could we stay the same now? Felt like Hannah had really fucked things up.
Yeah,
So we stand separate paths.
that one is for sure Eve.
We had become different.
Clearly. That one's for sure Eve, because Eve's talking about the baby. Ill. Why not?
Well, she has a knife. She's been cooking, I guess. She's been cooking him his favourite meal. She's his wife. He's asleep and she doesn't want to wake him because he's ill. That's why she's sad. Because he's ill and he might die. It's kind of a sad story, so I'm not sure how it ends.
Okay. Let's see. Die. Dead.
That's all that matters, really. The baby. Simon's dead, but the baby, that's how he will live on. Our baby.
Our baby. We haven't seen much from this day.
You ask me the same question, you'll get the same answer. Is that your evidence? Of course I thought about what happened then. It's all I've thought about. My husband is dead.
But is that one Eve pretending to be Hannah? I think the day after is Eve being Eve. This one is Eve being Hannah. They're pretty calculated people, I think.
It was supposed to be a secret. Just because Simon's dead doesn't mean I have to give up all his secrets. It doesn't have anything to do with what happened to Simon. No one murdered my husband because he cheated his expenses for a romantic weekend in Oxford.
Okay. We're gonna search out repost. Evidence. Let's just do the letter I, see if we can get that first one.
A black coffee, thanks. No sugar. I'm sweet enough as it is.
There we go, we got that first one, okay. Thank you. Sweet. Tea. Oh, hello.
Could I have a cup of tea?
She likes a cup of tea.
A cup of tea would be good, thanks. Just one sugar.
That could, okay. 25th is Hannah, because she likes tea. 30th is Hannah, because she likes tea.
Okay. parked up on the street. It was busy, so I had to park down the end of the road. Walked up, knocked on the door, no answer. I took my keys out of my bag and unlocked the door. The main lock was unlocked. You can tell because the key doesn't turn when you try to turn it to the left. I walked in. Simon's coat wasn't on the peg. I couldn't see his shoes in the shoe rack. I shouted out. I walked straight into the kitchen because he usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper, but he wasn't there. I touched the kettle, it was cold. I looked quickly in the living room, nothing. So I walked upstairs to the bedroom and he wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. I had a shower. The phone rang whilst I was in the shower. I didn't answer it. I think it was Eric. Then I was just exhausted. So I lay down on the bed and I fell asleep, though I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. This time I spoke to him. Then I called Doug and Eleanor. And then I decided to come and see you. That enough?
Okay.
Maybe a fresh cup of tea? Okay. I parked up on the street. It was busy, so I parked down at the end of the road. I walked up to the house. I knocked on the door. No answer. I took my keys out of my bag, unlocked the door. The main lock was unlocked. I could tell because the key wouldn't turn when I tried to turn it to the left. I walked in. Simon's coat wasn't on the peg.
We just heard the same.
I couldn't see his shoes on the shoe rack. I shouted out for him. I walked straight into the kitchen. He usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper. He wasn't there. I touched the kettle. It was cold. I looked quickly into the living room. Nothing. I walked upstairs to the bedroom. He wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. Then I had a shower. Whilst I was in the shower, the phone rang. I think it was Eric, his boss. I didn't answer it. Then I came out and I was just exhausted.
You did it at night.
So I lay down on the bed and I fell asleep, but I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. I spoke to him. Then I called Simon's parents. And then I decided to come and see you. That enough?
Okay, so it's very clear we've just got the two same stories here, but it's very clear that within the day that is between them, it's a different person. So, this one, very clearly, the 30th of June, is very clearly Hannah because she likes tea, and also because her hair's up. This one's clearly Eve, her hair's down, and Eve likes coffee. And we'll prove this.
About 8 years back, it was a present to myself. I shouldn't even be drinking coffee with the baby. It's been hard trying to give it up. I think they say you can have 1 cup.
Okay, so that was for sure Eve. Eve is pregnant.
No. I've had enough coffee for today, thanks. Glass of water. Coffee, I guess. Milk and sugar.
Second is Eve. Okay, let's refresh. Okay. Can we do Eve and baby in the same thing? No, we can't. Okay. Look at the big chunk we're missing here. We need to get all this same. We need to use keywords.
No, he doesn't keep a diary. That's my thing. I've kept one, well, as long as I can remember, since I was a girl. Helps make sense of my day. And when you're forced to put something into words, it just gives you perspective. Everyone's on the same page.
Okay. Since I was on the 18th, okay, that was the final one there. So that's the 18th.
Yes.
I'm trying to get a grasp of everything.
The first time we saw each other, it was strange. We both realised at the same moment, I think. We must have seen each other before, but there was this instant when we first realised it wasn't a reflection. The reflection was staring back. I think I was 5. It was my birthday. My reflection was wearing a party hat and waving. I knew what party hats were from books. And it suddenly occurred to me, today must be my birthday. I waved back and we just spent ages waving at each other and copying each other's movements.
Okay. The whereabouts. That was there, okay. Copy. Come on, let me type, mate. Copying. Exact. No. Party. Just trying to get different words that we could use. I think the more we gain up here, the more bones we'll have to structure the rest of down here. Because look, we've got a lot down here as well that we need to uncover. But look, we've got a little square there, that's funny. Okay, story. Okay.
It wasn't the present so much, it was one of those arguments that had been simmering for a while. The present was a mirror, a nice mirror.
She doesn't like present.
He'd engraved the glass, the kind of mirror a princess would have in a story. He made it specially for me. Yes, like a story. A beginning, a middle, and an end. Well, she wasn't my real mother, but she raised me. Do you want to hear the story? It's a real life fairy tale.
Princess?
Let me see. Yes. I drove in here because I remember, well, I went over the river. And then there was a church. There. Yeah. And I probably parked. Well, I remember seeing a street sign called Princess Street. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it must be this one. There. Yeah, we were 17. It was a nice wedding, people said. Simon looked very handsome in the photos. His parents paid for everything, but he's an only child, so it was important to them. It was what they called a shotgun wedding, but if you looked at the photos, you couldn't tell. The dress was beautiful. It looked like Princess Diana's. The train wasn't quite as long, though. There's a great photo of the bridesmaid helping to carry it out of the car.
Oh, she didn't like Bridesmaid.
We were obsessed with fairy tales. Not just the pretty ones, but the traditional ones. They were dark and real, bizarre and violent. Felt like life. We had this huge old book that I think Mum must have bought from a library sale. The illustrations had thin tracing paper over them to protect them. They were in colour, shiny plates. At the front of the book was an index of illustrations. We read that more than the actual stories. We'd read aloud the captions and flip between the pictures. There was something intimate about peeling back the tracing paper, undressing the pictures. Rapunzel's hair is cut. The eagle plucks out his heart. The princess pricks her finger.
She mentions Rapunzel quite a bit, so I've just wrote down Rapunzel. Oh, look at that chunk. It's extending. Okay. I have death caps from when her dad supposedly died from it.
I was living in the attic. It was a very hard time. I was depressed, was still pretty sick of the STD. And I came down one morning and they were dead. They were in bed and both had been sick. They'd thrown up a lot. And I slept through it. The police said it was the mushrooms they ate. Dad was a mushroom expert. I mean, he used to take us picking with him and he taught us how to recognise them. And there's no way he would have picked death caps. But the police believe that's what happened. They never even looked in the